Welcome back to Theory Hammer, my friends, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Minotaurum Field Manual version 1.8, so the newest points as of April 2024. Whoops, made my camera move. Alright, so that's what we're going to do today. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure to thunderhammer that like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below, check out other videos, hit Nurgle's bell icon, all the YouTube stuff. The algorithm loves it, I love it. We're going to get right into this because there's a whole bunch of point changes and they're all very exciting. I'm going to try to get through it quickly. So, Field Manual, number 1.8, what do we got? So, Sororitas are first. The Arcoflagellants went up. So, units of 4 were 40 points, I think. Units of 5 were 150, or units of 10, I mean, were 150, I think. Pretty sure that's right. Either way, it's up to 50 for 3, or 160 for 10. So, you're paying about 16 points a guy there. Your Sacrosancts did go down 60 points or 120 for 10, so that's not bad. They're still pretty limp in combat. Crusaders, those went up because everybody was taking Crusaders to do secondaries, so they're a little bit more expensive now. Then you have Demon Fugue. Those two guys went down a little bit, so that makes them a little bit better. They should probably be a little bit cheaper than 70 points, but who knows. Same thing with the Death Cult Assassins going up like the Crusaders, just more action stuff. So 2 of those is now 45 points. So you got some buffs, you got some nerfs, you got your Mortifiers. They went down by 5 points as well, so that's pretty nice. I run Mortifiers, well, Penitent Engines. They both went down 5 points. So that's pretty sweet. The Triumph of St. Catherine, 140. So she went up, I think she was like 130, 125, 130. So she's up to 140 because she is still good, even though she got nerfed in January. I think it was in January, with her ability getting nerfed. So the only other thing up here that went up is the Blade of St. Eleanor, 25 points for that, because that is a pretty good enhancement. Makes stuff hit real hard, especially when you have your what's her called, the Palatine. So that's your Adeptus Sororitas point changes. Overall for them, they're probably fine. Your Mortifiers going down, you know, St. Catherine went up, so that kind of takes the place of that. Yeah, your Crusaders go up a little bit. Your Arcoflagellants are going to be the hardest hitting ones there, up 10 points for 10. So they're still really, really good, even for 160 points for 10 of them. They just mulch everything and they just don't die. So, yeah, Arcoflagellants, you're still going to take like 2 squads of them. I'm going to take 2 squads of them probably still. So, overall, kind of okay. Custodes. We're going to talk about this for a second. And this is what we're going to talk about. These are the old points. So, Alea did go down by 5 points. Not all these are going to be the same, but basically, they're the fucking same. So, the Adeptus Custodes Codex came out, and it has points cost in there. And so, these are the updated points costs. They're the same fucking points costs. So, here's the old version of the points. Your Alaris dudes, right? 390. Yeah, 390. The Rhino, 75. Blade Champion did go down. He went down by 10 points, but that's because he lost like everything. Custodian Guard, 180, 225. 180, 225. Wardens, 200, 250. 200, 250. Knight Centura did go down, I think. Yep, she went down by 5. Prosecutors are the same. Yep, so prosecutors are the exact same. Shield Captain, same. Shield Captain in Alaris, what is he, 140? Shield Captain in Alaris, 140. So, yeah. Dawn Eagle Jet Bike, 140. Trajan's 150. I think Trajan is different. Yeah, so Trajan is down 5 points. Valerian, 110. Valerian went down by 5. Venerable Contemptor, 170. So that did go down by 15. But all the things you really care about, 240 for a Land Raider. Does Land Raider have an invuln? I forget, actually. 240 for a Land Raider. Yeah. So we got Virtus Praetors, 225. They're the same. I know that they're the same. I already looked. And then you have your Vigilators, 125 for 10 Vigilators. Vigilators, 130. So they did go down a little bit. Witch Seekers, 125. 125, yeah. So basically, these are the same points costs. There's a couple of differences, but the things that really mattered, the things like, you know, your Alaris Custodians, basically everything infantry related needed to go down more, probably by 5 points a guy. So, Maybe not quite 5 points a guy. That's probably, well, I don't know. The Codex is garbage right now. We'll see if anybody can pull anything cool out of that. But at a glance, this Codex Adeptus Custodes, is a fucking dumpster fire. So this is really disappointing because we wanted to see some actual points decreases, considering that they're no longer going to have their death wounds protection, and they just don't have enough durability with things against like death wounds and just 3 damage weapons and other stuff like that. It's just really hard. They lost a lot of stuff in their Codex. We're going to go over the Codex once I have it. So be sure to check out that video once it's out. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, do all that stuff. All right, so my rant about Custodes is over. I don't want to waste too much time on this, but fuck that. So Adeptus Mechanicus. Call went down significantly. He's probably playable? Maybe not. He's probably playable now. Castellan robots, they went down as well, so they're 90 points apiece. They just don't put out enough damage, in my opinion. The destroyers did go down, so they're now 210 points for 5 of them. That's pretty interesting. That makes destroyers pretty interesting because they are pretty damn durable for their cost now. The Dune Crawler also went down to 130. So my Adeptus Mechanicus army, which another thing I'm going to have out soon, is a list for my Adeptus Mechanicus. I'll have that video out at some point in the near future. So that has Dune Crawlers, it doesn't have Destroyers, but it does have the Ranger guys. So Rangers are now down to 80, but I'll still take Vanguard, who knows. The Disintegrators down to 170, so 10 point decrease there. Your Rangers went down 10 as well. Your Rust Stalkers went down 5, so 1 point a guy, so they're 60 points for 5, or 120 for 10. So the Skatros, that ugly fucking model that's awful, it's 60 points. It's actually pretty good because it's a lone up, but I hate the way it looks. Absolutely hate it. So Adeptus Mechanicus got some love here. This isn't going to help that, like, they're not going to suddenly become, you know, top army in the game by any means because of this. The rules are just too terrible for that to become the case. Unless these things were like halved, and then it's just not a good way to balance it. So overall, it's all points decreases, so we can't really complain too much about that. Titanicus, no changes there. Eldari, more nerfs to Eldari, because fuck Eldar, apparently. So Fugan went up a little bit. I actually don't remember how many points he was before. I own Eldar, but I haven't really played much of Eldar in this edition. It's more of a dark Eldar, if anything. So Howling Banshees, they are down to 70 for 5 or 140 for 10. That seems pretty good for what they can do now. The Shining Spears, 200 points for 6 of them, 300 or 100 points for 3. I don't think that they're very good now, right? They only have a 5-up invuln. They don't hit like they used to. So nice that they went down. Don't know if we're going to be seeing those run though. We got the Storm Guardians. The Storm Guardians did go down. They were probably a little overcosted as well. They went down a little bit though, so they're 100 points now. Striking Scorpions also went down. I'm not sure why Striking Scorpions went down. They're really good. So 130 for 10 Striking Scorpions now, and they're going to fuck shit up because they do mortal wounds. They have a ton of attacks. Yeah, they're great, especially with Karandras. Very good unit. So nice to see them go down. You'll see them more often, I think, now as well, because they do hit really hard. They do mortals to stuff like on like 6s to wound or something. I don't remember, but they do mortals to stuff that isn't like a monster or vehicle. Support weapons went up. I think these started the edition at like 90 points or something. They have gone up like 50%, maybe more. I don't remember what they actually started at, but I want to say that they were 90. Swooping Hawks also went up a little bit just because they're really, really good action monkeys. So, you know, 10 guys is 160. Those are the only changes. So everything else kind of got not touched, although there is another change here, yeah, for Forge World. The Shadow Specters went up. The Shadow Specters are 105 for 5, or they're 210 for 10. Compared to Warp Spiders, where are Warp Spiders? Oh my god, they have a lot of stuff with W, don't they? Warp Spiders, there they are, 115. All right, so yeah, 115 compared to this. So they're still a little cheaper than Warp Spiders. They don't quite fill the same role, but they're good. Phoenix Gem also went up to 35. That's the thing that lets a guy just 2-up come back to life with full wounds. So you're gonna still take that, I think, on an Exarch, the flying Exarch guy. Agents of the Imperium. So my day got real sad because so much of this stuff from Imperium got changed, and now it's like, what the fuck else am I going to take instead? I hate when this happens. It's the worst part. It's the best and the worst part about these editions, like 9th edition and 10th edition. This was a little bit done in 8th edition, but not so much. But 9th and 10th edition, it's nice because you get to like build new armies and stuff, but it's also annoying because I've been trying to practice with my army and stuff, and it's annoying to have to like rebuild things and buy new models and all that bullshit, the hamster wheel. So the Calidus Assassin went up to 100 points. Still worth it. You're still going to take her. I'm going to take her. Everyone's going to take her. She's still really good. And Inquisitorial Henchman went up to 50 points. I still think they're good for 50 points, just for things like Imperial Knights, Grey Knights, things that want to ally in Agents of the Imperium stuff. That's kind of the whole problem that I have with this entire thing, is that this is an indirect nerf to a lot of other factions, like Imperial Knights. All right, so if you were taking 2 units of Henchman and an Assassin like I was, now you're paying an extra 30 points for that, and you like that's one of my enhancements. So it's like, okay, now I drop that. Like, that just really fucks things up, especially for me in the list that I'm running, because I have 2 big knights. So it's like, do I drop the big knight now? Do I drop his enhancement? Do I drop a baby knight and then take more inquisitorial henchmen stuff? Like, I don't even know what to do at that point. So interesting change here, but probably needed, if I'm being honest. Inquisitor Draxus, this fucking bitch is insane. She went up to 85 points. I still think you're going to take her. If you're running her with Custodes, she's still just completely ridiculous. So I think, unless you went for like 100 points, then you probably wouldn't take her. Maybe you would still, but she's really good. And that is the only changes that we got for the Agents of the Imperium overall. Probably all necessary, just indirectly screws over a lot of different things. Astra Militarum, the Imperial Guard, as they're called normally by everybody. The Alatin Rough Riders, they went down, I think, 5 points apiece, so they're 120 for 10 or 5 for 60. Got the Basilisk. This went up because this thing is just annoying. I'm surprised it didn't go up in the last data slate, and if it did, it didn't go up enough, but I'm pretty sure it stayed the same. It is 150 now, so it's still less than 180, which is like almost all artillery is 180. Couple things got changed, like this Manticore is now 190. It kind of depends on the artillery and like what it's actually doing, what it's got going on, but most artillery in the game is 180 points. So the Basilisk now 150. Bulgrin Squad, yeah, these things are silly, so they're still very, very good. 480 points for 6 of them. These are the guys that are -1 damage and have a 4-up invuln, and like, I think they get like a 6-up feel no pain as well. Very, very tough unit to kill. They hit pretty hard in combat. Just good unit, and they went up, unfortunately. They were one of the units that I included in my Astra Militarum Tactica because they were so good. And you started seeing some of the Imperial Guard list actually winning GTs. So I guess I was right at the end of the day. The Imperial Guard are actually pretty good. Bulgrin squads were a staple of a lot of these armies, so they went up. Hellhounds went down to 115. Yeah, whatever, I don't care. The Hydra went down to 85. The Hydra was good already, so cool. Hydra's now even better. It's not good enough to like take most of the time, but for its points, for what it has on it, it's a good unit. It's one of those, like, it's in one of those weird spots where like it's a playable unit that is actually good, but there's just other things that are better, and so you just don't typically see them run. Karshkin, that's how you say that, I think. Karshkin, they went up to 120 points. This unit was very, very strong. They could just run up to things and blow them up with melta-guns, throw melta-mines at things. They always had, I think the Karshkins are the ones that always have a, yeah, an order. That's the thing I'm trying to think of. They can always have an order on them, so you could like give them +1 to hit, or you can move. I think these were the ones that scouted as well. Maybe the Scions were the ones. No, Scion's definitely deep strike, right? Because I've always had the deep strike stuff. So I think these ones are the ones that scout. So yeah, they scout up 6 inches, they move 6 inches, or they move 9, and they just blow you up, and then they have a melta-mine, and it's annoying. And yeah, they're 120 points now. Pretty annoying unit. Leman Russ Battle Tank. This thing went down to 170 points. I love the Leman Russ tanks. They're pretty cool. They look like shit, but I love how durable they are, and just how much firepower they put out. They're a lot of fun. Leman Russ Eradicators down to 150. Is the Eradicator the one with the autocannons? That's 150 now? The Executioner is 170, because the Executioner has the plasma cannons. I think the Exterminator is the one that has the autocannons. The Eradicator might be the blast, ignores cover thing. The Vanquisher, I don't care, it's 145, it's fine. The Punisher's 150. Manticore went up to 190, because everybody was still running Manticores, because Manticores were still good. And then your Militarum Tempestus Command Squad, that did go down to 70, so that's nice to see. And then your Scions also went down 50 points for 5 or 100 points for 10. Medusa, that went up to 125. Were people running this? Yeah, alright, so that's your guard overall. Oh, this is kind of a hard one to digest immediately. The Rough Riders going down is nice. The Hellhound I don't care about. I don't think anyone really used them. Hydra, again, don't care about that. The Leman Russ is going down. That's significant for most players. The Kauriskin is going up is significant for most players because people were running them. Same with the Bulgrins and the Basilisk. So basically everything that got hit here to go up are things that people were running. The things that got hit here to go down are things that people were probably running. Yeah, people were running most of these things except for like Hydras and Hellhounds. So those are going to go down now, which is nice because some of your other stuff went up. So maybe at the end of the day, depending on your list, you know, you might have to change a couple things here and there. But if you were running a lot of Leman Russes, then you saved a bunch of points. Good for you. So that's what you get for guard. Did they get anything else? Nope, just the Medusa change. Black Templars. What a sad day for KevBot. Oh my god. My list wasn't even good, dude. So, Black Templar, Gladiator, Reaper, Lancer, and Valiant all went up. So the Lancer, which is the one that I was running, and if you haven't seen that video, go watch it. Actually, at this point, maybe don't go watch it because it's outdated at this point. But yeah, I was running 3 Lancers. They're up by 5 points. So that Multi-Melta is now costing us 10 points instead of 5. Same thing with your Reaper and your Valiant. They all went up, I think, by 5 points. And then you have your Impulsor, 5 points up. This is the most annoying thing for me, because if this hadn't changed, my list would have been exactly 2,000 points because it was at 1970. I'm pretty sure it was at 1970 because I just didn't care and I don't care about anything else. So Crusaders going up fucks me. Crusaders going up by 10 points apiece. That's 50 points more. My Assassin, that's 60 points more. My Lancers are another 5 each, so that's another 15. So that's 75 points that my list increased by. So I guess I'm switching it to Dark Angels or some other type of thing. Crusaders going up to 85. They didn't need to go up to 85, I don't think. They were probably good at 75. They really just took up a bunch of space and like sometimes did damage with multi-meltas and stuff. They didn't ever really do too much for me. So they're not worth 85 points, I guess is what I'm getting at. They're not worth 85 points. They're maybe worth 75 where they were. Primary Sword Brethren, they went up a little bit. I think they were like 280. I think they were 140 or 280, so now they're 150 or 300, 5 and 10 respectively. So all stuff you saw getting run went up, basically. Interesting that the Black Templar Repulsor Executioner, this is 15 points more, isn't it? Because a Repulsor is normally 225. So, okay, so that's your Black Templars, your Blood Angels. Let's see. Mephiston, down to 100 points. How much was he before? Like 110, 120? Death Company Dreadnought. These things are hilarious. This is 145 now. I might just play Blood Angels or Dark Angels instead and maybe throw in some Death Company Dreadnoughts because they're hilarious. They could just continue to fight like forever. They're fucking nutty. If you haven't played against one, don't play against one because you'll feel sad, especially if you play Tau. Death Company Intercessors. These went down. 75 points for 5, 150 for 10. Your regular Death Company went up 125 or 250 for 5 and 10. Your Death Company Marines with jump packs also went up to 140 or 280. I could have sworn they were... No, they went up, clearly. I thought that they were 280 before, but they're not. Lamardes also went up to 120 because he's really, really good. So overall, this unit's going to cost you 400 points now. This Death Company jump pack with Lamardes bomb, 400 points for that. Is it worth 400 points? Probably if you rapid ingress it. It's still going to do a whole ton of damage. It's still -1 damage. It's still got a Feel No Pain 6-up, so it's pretty tanky. Does lethals, you know, reroll everything with pistols and hammers and all kinds of shit. So, yeah, it went up. That's what we got. Sanguinary Guard went down. They're still garbage for 155 points for 5 or 300 points. Like that, what the hell? No, absolutely not ever going to play those. Sanguinary Priest went up to 90. Sanguinary Priest with Jump Pack went up to 100. Sanguinor stayed the same. He could have probably dropped a little bit, maybe to like 120. He's not going to do a whole lot of damage in combat. He's still very, very good. He's on my list of good units. All right, Chaos Demons, no change. Cool, I can skip that. Chaos Knights, cool, I can skip that. Chaos Space Marines. The whole page is green. That's a great thing, because they got hit a little bit too hard in the last balanced data slate. One thing I guess I'll note real quick is that the balanced data slate also updated with this index, but I don't know what the difference is. So let me know down below. Clearly it was very small. So yeah. Chaos Bikers, they went down to 75. They were 85 before. So 75 to 3 Chaos Bikers. Take 2 units of them. Please take 2 units of them. They're very, very good. Chaos Terminator Squad, 185 or 370. So you're paying 310. You're still looking at 680 points, Justin, for your stupid unit of 10 Terminators and Abaddon. Yeah. All right, so they went down, which is good. The Vindicator, 175. Dude, just run 3 Chaos Vindicators. Vindicators are ridiculous, especially with lethal hits or sustained hits. Yeah, what? Take Vindicators. You're going to start seeing Vindicators, like, more, because I think people were running them before, even at 190, which I think they were before. So you're going to see them at 175, for sure. Cultist Mob down a little bit, 50 points or 100. Cypher also down to 90. I'm not sure what Cypher does. He's just a little lone op character that shoots stuff. He can, like, shoot back at people. I mean, like, I don't know what he does, like, as a strategic asset, but Justin likes that guy as well. Havoc's 120, so they went down. Okay. Hellbrute 130. The Demon Prince went down to 165. Demon Prince with Wings down to 180. Legionaries also went down. I think they were 85 before, so now they're 80. No matter what they were before, now they're 80. So that's pretty good. The Mauler Fiend went down to 140. Okay, I think it was 150 before. Possessed went down as well. Not sure this was needed. Possessed are very, very strong. They got very, very good with the points decrease, but 130 or 260. Raptors also went down, and Raptors were also pretty interesting with Harken. So Raptors being 85 points or 170, that's going to be a nice little buff. So I think my buddy's list probably went down by like 100 points here. So that's pretty nice. And then you got your Venom Crawler, 110. For 110, a Venom Crawler is actually seeming pretty interesting. It's got 2 sets of guns on it. It's okay in combat, I think, right? I'm pretty sure it's okay in combat, but it's pretty good overall. So Chaos, you guys got some good stuff here. Hopefully it was what you were looking for, and we'll probably see Possessed on the table a little bit more. I think that that'll probably take the place of whatever those other guys were. Not the Terminators, but the Exalted guys, wherever they are, like the Chosen guys. That's what I'm thinking of. You'll probably see some more Possessed instead of the Chosen and instead of the Accursed Cultist, but we'll see. So that's what you get for Chaos. Dark Angels, Deathwing Knights went down to 215 for 5. Deathwing Knights, okay. Right, so Deathwing Terminators went down to 180 or 360. Interesting. Deathwing Knights are the ones that are like the Deathwing Terminator guys, right? Like the special Deathwing Terminator guys, I think. The Inner Circle Champions, they're now 180. And Lionel Johnson is now 300. Still not worth 300 points. The Inner Circle Champions going down to 180 actually makes them kind of interesting because you can stick, what's-his-face, Azrael with them, and probably some other stuff. But Azrael can go with them. So that's pretty cool. He kind of beefs them up a little bit. But just generally going down in points is nice because they're basically Sword Brethren for the Dark Angels. So that's pretty nice as well. But otherwise, no changes here. Nothing else is getting any changes. Right, so Death Guard got 1 change only. The Hellbrute, it went down to 130. The Hellbrute for Death Guard's pretty good. When Derek and I played, if you haven't seen Derek, go check out the 40k Dirtbags. But when Derek and I played, he hasn't run a Death Guard Hellbrute yet. I think they're pretty fucking good because they can just put stuff into contagion range by shooting at them, so that's pretty nice. But that is their only change. They're pretty good right now. Death Guard are pretty damn strong. Being able to make people's saves worse or just make them -1 to hit, -1 to see the whole game, everything around you, very strong. Deathwatch. Well, I guess Games Workshop doesn't care about Deathwatch either, so. Drakari. Hey, we didn't get any changes. That's pretty cool. So my Tantalus didn't change. I love it. Archon, everything, all the same. So we'll see what happens in a little bit. I think they probably didn't need any changes for the most part. They could have seen some stuff here and there, but I like where they are. So Dark Eldar, you're good to go. Genestealer cults. Aberrants went down. So for 10 guys, they are 360 points. I think they were 380 points before. So they're 2 points less per model, I think, right? Whatever. They're less points, and these things are awesome because they have 3 wounds apiece at tough and 6 with a 4-up feel no pain. And they hit very, very hard. Especially when you got your Abominant in there. Your Abominant comes back to life on a 2+. I hate Genestealer cults. They make me want to flip over tables. Achilles Ridge Runner. These also went down, and these things are also silly. I think they were 80 or 85 before. Yeah, these things give you ignores cover, and I think they give you +1 AP. It's something that they shoot at. So they could do maybe they do something along those lines. I don't actually play Genestealer cults myself, so don't quote me on that. I don't have everything else right up in front of me. But them going down, those things are awesome. You definitely need to take 2 of these in your army because they have out of line of sight shooting, and I'm pretty sure they give you both ignores cover and then something else. They can take like an upgrade. That I think they upgrade ignores cover, and then the thing that they shoot at, you just their data sheet abilities, you get +1 AP against them. So Ridge Runners are great. Take Ridge Runners. They're only 75 points now. Rock Grinders 130. Goliath Truck. Yes, the Rock Grinder is the one that has like the thing in the front. I think it does like mortal wounds when it charges as well. So okay, 130 maybe probably might be worth taking now. Goliath Truck for 90. I don't remember what it's got on there, so. Nice that it went down in points. Everything else remained the same, though. So that's what you got for your Genestealer cults. Cult of Genes. Grey Knights. So the Nemesis Dread Knight probably didn't go up enough points, but it's 195 now. The Librarian's now 120, so he's seen points increases in both the data slates so far. Yeah. Okay, so the Tech Marine, along with the Dread Knight, the Tech Marine also went up. The Tech Marine is just better than a regular Tech Marine in pretty much every way. Like, he's strictly just better. He has more attacks in combat. He's got better weapons in combat. His range for +1 to hit is 6 inches. And, yeah, he's just better. So, cool. 70 points, still going to be taking them. Nemesis Dread Knight, they were, I think, 185 points before. So they are now 195. Your Purgation squads did go down a little bit to 130 and 260. I still don't care. I'm not going to take them. And then Purifiers, these went down. And I like Purifiers. They went down to 250 for a squad of 10. So you're looking at 325 with Crow. And that's awesome. Then also your Strike squads, they went down just a little bit. 5 points from 125 to 120 or 240 if you want to take 10 of them. So the points decreases overall here kind of evens out my list that I was running with these. But overall, it's probably going to go up because the Assassin went up. It basically goes up by 40 points, 50, 55, 60 points. Yeah. Pretty sure it goes up by, so it's 40 points, 50, 55 points. Yep. Doesn't go down by enough. So there's only 10 there, 10 there, 5 there. So yeah, it's over points now. Moral of the story. Imperial Knights, no changes. Okay. No changes. Leagues of Votann. Leagues of Votann are a dumb army. They're fucking busted. Hearthkin Warriors, they are now 100 points instead of 110. And then Uthar the Destined is 80 points, so he went down a little bit. Yeah. Alright, they're basically half an index, so they get 2 changes. Necrons, we got all kinds of stuff to talk about here. Necrons were top in events, they were like 57% win rate or something like that. They were all the big scaries on the block. The Nightbringer, still sub 300 points, 295. The Void Dragon, still sub 300 points at 290. The Catacomb Command Barge did go down to 130, probably still not worth it. Chronomancer, 65. These the one that gives you -1 to hit all the time, I think. The Death Marks, they went down. They went down to 60 and 120. The Flayed ones also went down to 60 and 120. I think Flayed ones are pretty good. They have Infiltrate, so 60-point Infiltrator unit. I like it. Illuminor Xeris, he went up because he was, yeah, he was running basically any list that took a bunch of Immortals. Immortals themselves went up to 75 and 150. The Monolith went up to 375. Yeah, it probably should have, right? The Monolith probably needed to go up, right? Anyway, Ophidian Destroyers, they went down 90 points or 180 for 3 and 6. Plasmancer went up to 65. He's still worth taking. Yeah, Scorpack Destroyers, they went down 90 points or 180, so they're the same amount of points as Ophidians. How does that make sense? What? Why? They're not nearly the same durability or the same damage output. Like, these are just better. Am I missing something here? Scorpack Lord, he is down to 80 as well, so you can run a beefed out unit of dudes for 260 points plus an enhancement if you want it. Technomancer, he's up to 85. Jesus. So that sucks. And then the Transcendent Catan is 285, so he went up a little bit as well. Still sub 300 points. Still, all the Catan are very, very strong still, so none of this actually really matters. This is all... Your army is still really, really good. You're just a little bit in line now. Hypercrypt Legion got the Dimensional Overseer, went up to 25 points. So that's what they... Yeah. Anything here? Codex Orks. Okay. So the Codex just came out. I don't get it, guys. I don't get it. The Tau one got like leaked first, but the Orks one came out first. Battle Wagon, 160 now. I don't know how many points it was prior to this, but it's now 160. Big Mech with Shock Attack Gun is 75. I thought he was 75. Oh, you know what? It's like the same thing. It's from the, yeah, because of the Codex. Right. Because the Codex points are stupid, this is now the right points. Boomdaka Snazwagon, 80 points. Snickrot is 85. Boys themselves are 85 and 170. Burner Boys, 60 and 120. Def Dread is 130. Def Killer Wartrike is 80. Def Coptas are 100 and 200. So these are pretty much the same, I think, for most part. Flash Gits, 80 and 160. Flash Gits are pretty good. You're paying what? God, that's a weird number. You're paying less than 20 points a guy for Flash Gits. The Gorkanaut, 280. Gretchen are 40 and 80. Hunter Rig is 150. Kill Rig is 170. Killicans are 125 or 250. You can take these in units of 6. That's hilarious. This might actually do damage to something with units of 6. With the Dread Mob. Yeah, because Grottank's got Old Yellard. So, you take Killicans now instead. Maybe a Morkanaut? Where's the Morkanaut? Morkanaut's 295 now. So the Mega Track Scrapjet, 80. The Mech Guns are 50, 100, 150. Ludas are 50 or 100. That's interesting. Ludas are very cheap. 100 points for 10 Ludas. Custom Booster Blasta, 75 points. Pain Boss, 60 points. Pain Boy, 70 points? What? Pain Boss, 60 points. Pain Boy, 70 points. Rucka Truck Scruggabug, 100 points. Shock Jump Drags to 75. Squig Hoggers, Big Hogs, they are 160, but you get 4 guys in the unit now. The knob comes with the unit. So they did go up in points technically, but like by like 1 point per guy. So 160 or 320 for that. Stompa, 800 goddamn points. That didn't change. Why? Tank Busters, they are 110. Truck is 65. Warbikers, 70 or 140. Warboss is only 65, but he may have been 65 prior. Warboss and Mega Armor is 80. I think he was the same. My commentary is irrelevant. So that's what you get for Orks. Probably basically the same points from the version 1.7 here. So most likely kind of the same deal going on there. I'm not going to do a comparison in this video. Maybe I'll do it in some different video because this is just about what we got right now. None of their enhancements changed. Codex Space Marines. So Assault Intercessors with jump packs, they went down. They're 80 points or 160. And these guys do like mortals on the charge. So that actually might be interesting. Okay. Brutalis Dreadnought also does mortals on the charge. He's 160 now. Eliminators went up to 85. Were they being run a lot? Because I've never seen a squad of Eliminators in my life. Hellblasters went down to 115 or 230. Incursors went down to 80 and 160. You probably have more, yeah. Storm Raven went up because it was good in like one list. And the Tactical Squad went down to 140 for the 10 dudes there, so they're 14 points apiece. Terminator Assault Squad, they also went down, 185 or 370 for 10. So a bunch of Thunderhammers, 370 points, 4 wounds apiece. Regular Terminators are 175 or 350. And then you have the Vindicator, hell yeah, down to 175. I'm gonna run 3 Vindicators and 3 Leviathans, or 3 Redemptors. I should just like own it at this point. They're just Leviathans. Ironstorm Spearhead, so the Adept of the Omnissiah went up. I want to say 10 points. Yeah, I think it was 10 points. Maybe 15. That might have gone up 15. Wait a minute. Target Augury Web is 40. Master of Machine War is 30. So that's the one that I was running. So that went up 10 points. So my list went up like 100 points. But yeah, your Adept of the Omnissiah, that's the blank damage one. That went up to 35 points. Because I guess each time one of your Land Raiders takes damage, it's 35 points. So that's what we get. Space Wolves, your Wolf Scouts went down to 75. Cool. Wolfguard Terminators went down to 185 or 370. Okay. Take a little points cut. Tau. 0 changes whatsoever. Fuck me in the face. Index Thousand Suns, we got some changes. So Scarab Occult Terminators. Were these more than 400 points before? That's crazy. Why? So they are 400 points now for 10. You know why? Because they can become like devastating wound guns or something like that. Thousand Suns Cultists, 55 points for 10 or 110 for 20. The Demon Prince is 170. The Demon Prince with Wings is 180. The Hellbreed is 130. What does your Hellbreed do? It lets you like double your range of one of your things or something. Thousand Suns Mauler Fiend is 140, and then your Thousand Sun Vindicator, 175. Good shit. Vindicators are great. And then you have your detachment enhancements. Your Arcane Vortex went up to 25. I don't know what that does off the top of my head. And then Lord of Forbidden Lore went up to 35. So your Umbralific Crystal didn't change. I'm assuming one of these is the +1 strength, +1 damage enhancement. I just don't remember which one it is. That's what you get for your 1,000 or your Thousand Suns. All right, moving on to Tyranids, Barbgaunts, 55 points or 110. Gargoyles, they went up a little bit. I think they went up 5 points. They're 85 now instead of 80. Whoa. Hive Guard, they went down. They're still unplayable. They are 100 points or 200 points. The Lictor went down to 55. He's pretty good. Yeah, okay. I think he was 60 before. The Psychophage, wasn't this thing like 120 points before? It's 95 now. So this thing is, it gives you like a 6-up feel no pain if you're around it. And I don't remember what else it does. I just remember that because the other ability is probably pretty useless. But the Psychophage being 95 points might be worth taking now. Swarmlord down to 240. What was he, like 280 before? 260, 280? You might actually see a Swarmlord nowadays. He's still pretty expensive at 240 though. But either way, 240, he's a drop. I like drops. Tyranid Warrior with bioweapons. They went down to 75 or 150, so 3 and 6. Ranged bioweapons went down to 65 or 130. What do the melee ones have? They have like strength 5, AP 1 or something with a bunch of attacks. The Tyrant Guard, no way. They went down to 85 points? Why? These things are ridiculous. So they're 85 points for 3 dudes that each are toughness 8 with like 4 wounds, I think, apiece. What? And they have like rending claws that are pretty good. So yeah, I mean, just even taking 3 of these things, putting them with the Swarmlord, that puts him at like 325 points. And he's got 12 ablative wounds at toughness 8. Or you could just take 6 of these things if you're really trying to keep something big like this alive, like your Hive Tyrant. Dude, 6 of these things, you're not going to get through that very easily, especially if you're handing out like Feel No Pain 5+. Wow. Yeah, so, okay, those went down a lot. So you're probably going to see Tyrant Guard. You'll still see Gargoyles, Hive Guard you won't see. You'll still see Lictors. The Psychophage you might see because they drop pretty significantly. Barb Gaunts, maybe. I think Barb Gaunts are great. They were probably great before just for their utility of being able to slow things down. And then also you have Zone Thropes. These went down a little bit as well. I don't know how many points they were before, but they're now 100 for 3 or 200 for 6. And they're pretty nice to have. Their guns are good. They're scary. They basically have like las cannons. They have 3 different profiles. They can kind of pick and choose their targets. So no changes to their detachment enhancements. And then you have the World Eaters. The Jackals, 10 of them is 65 points or 130 for 20. Your Berserkers did go down 90 points or 180. Berserkers are pretty good, especially because of their blood move thing. They can just surge into combat. That's pretty nice. World Eater Hellbrute went down to 130 as well. No idea what that does, but cheaper. And then your Mauler Fiend went down to 140 as well. Yeah, these guys don't have, they don't have a Vindicator. Get fucked. You get no good ranged weapons. Your Predators aren't bad though. Just having a bunch of Predator Destructors just for some shooting. That's probably a good call. World Eaters Terminators, they went down to 180 or 360. So, alright. Mostly good news here for most armies. A couple of them didn't like some of the changes. So Orks, I mean, that's all fine. Necrons, they're not going to like some of these changes, but overall, it doesn't really matter too much. This brings them in line a little bit more. The Elite's Votann changes are useless. It doesn't help. Like, what do you get? Like, you change 10 points. Grey Knights, this is going to change lists pretty significantly. Genestealers, you might see a little bit of change there, but probably not too much. Overall, it's all just cheaper, so you're just going to get more stuff there. Death Guard, you're not going to see a change there. Dark Angels, nobody runs them. Nobody runs into these units, so you might see the Inner Circle champions now. I don't think you'll see Lionel Johnson, not in a competitive sense anyway. Chaos Space Marines, I do think you're going to see more Possessed. You're going to see more Raptors. You might see a Mauler Fiend maybe. You will see more Bikers for sure. Cultists are already being taken. You'll see Vindicators, right? They have Vindicators, don't they? Somewhere around here, yeah. So Chaos Vindicator, you'll see some Vindicators probably. So you'll definitely see some changes in Chaos lists as well. Blood Angels, you're going to probably take the same units. I mean, Sanguinary Guard, you're not going to take still. Your Death Company Dreadnought, you're still going to take. Your Death Company with jump packs, you're still going to take with what's-his-face, Lamarte's. Yeah. So, that's pretty much unchanged. This is really going to change the Ironstorm more than anything. Because Black Templars, I don't think a lot of lists are really taking a whole lot of Sword Brethren. The other Sword Brethren guys, the Primaris Sword Brethren, or the Primaris Crusaders, maybe that's what I'm thinking of, they are awesome as well. So I didn't see a lot of people running that. And then a lot of people weren't running these unless you were taking with Ironstorm anyway. So like your Sword Brethren, you're paying a little bit more points for them. But yeah, overall, if you're just playing as Black Templars, this doesn't really hurt too much. It hurts me a lot more than it hurts you. Guard, I think kind of the same role there. They're pretty much in a spot where things that needed to go down went down, things that were taking too much went up, and overall it's mostly a wash, but it is going to change some things here and there. Agents of the Imperium, this is going to affect all of Imperium, just by the mere fact that this went up 10 points, and that this went up 10 points as well. So this is only going to affect one thing, which is Custodes, which is a nerf to Custodes. But the Assassin going up, and the Henchman going up, that's going to be a nerf to Guard, to Grey Knights, to Imperial Knights, things like that. Not really Guard too much, but more Imperial Knights, and maybe Grey Knights. What else? Eldari. So the things that people were taking a lot of, like the support weapons and swooping hawks, went up. Otherwise, things that really needed to go down have come down. Your Shadow Spectre's also one of those other aspect warriors that went up. Phoenix Gem going up. Have fun rebuilding your Eldar army, because I'm not doing that this edition. Codex Mechanicus, this is really not going to change too much. You're still going to take, these units. I don't think you're going to see Disintegrators, but at 170 they're looking a little bit more interesting. So maybe you will, maybe you won't. The Dune Crawler I think is hilarious. It gives out a 4-up invuln, so to like all your battle line stuff. That thing's great. Yeah, This is all overall pretty good, but it's not going to take him to anywhere that's going to be winning any tournaments. This is bullshit. This is pretty much a wash as well. Not exactly a wash. Okay, yeah, it's not really a wash. This is going to make your list go up, because this is really the only thing that's going to bring your list down. You're still not going to run Sacrosanct. Maybe you're probably not going to run this person. Yeah, so overall you're spending a little bit more points on the things that you need in this list as well. And that's going to do it. So that is the entire Minotaurum Field Manual version 1.8. If you guys like this video, let me know down below in the comments. If I missed anything, let me know down below in the comments. Thunderhammer that like button, baby. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below, like I just said. Hit Nurgle's bell icon, and then check out all of our other videos, because there's all kinds of videos out there. We are making all kinds of new content. The moral of the story here is, I guess, fuck Games Workshop, as always. Alright, that's going to do it for me, guys. I'll see you in the next one.